Hi guys, welcome back. So week number 4, session number 5. Sorry I had a week off last week. So today we're going to be looking at how to control and flight your golf ball and be able to hit distances by shortening your swing and altering the flight of the ball, which may come in handy in situations like when you keep ball under a tree or such instances like that, or heading into the wind where we want to keep the control of the flight of the ball a little bit more. Okay, so I've brought 3 clubs out with me tonight, just as an example. So first one I got was a wedge. I've got myself at approximately wedge distance to the flag. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit a wedge from this distance to the flag. Then I've skipped a couple of clubs. I've gone to an 8-iron, and we're going to hit an 8-iron from this distance to the same flag. And then we're going to hit a 6-iron from this distance to the same flag. And looking at adjusting our setup and our swing length and swing speed to then maybe control the distance to the others. And we'll see how the flight changes and how that might well help you and want to try and keep a ball lower and flight a ball under a tree or hit the ball into the wind, because I see so often people trying to lean the shaft forwards too much to hit a lower shot versus just taking less loft and taking a little bit less swing and controlling that ball flight. Okay, so you can see from those 3 examples, the ball came in from different heights and we also got a varying amount of roll on it. When would we use these? Well, this is where we need to experiment with these shots, because if I was playing that shot into a strong wind, for example, I may well have hit an 8-iron from 110 yards because it'll just keep that ball flying forwards. Or do we need to keep it under a branch with a 6-iron? So being able to hit these distances with the different clubs really helps develop your game. So you can see the pitching wedge, how it came in pretty normally. It was a pretty fullish wedge for me. The 8-iron, narrow my stance a bit, shorten the swing a little bit, feel the distance and play the shot. And then the 6-iron again, slightly narrower in the stance, and again just play that shot. Okay, so here's a little bit of a situation we're in. We're left of the first, front of the second tee. We're trying to get over to the flag over there. Now, for me, there's 2 choices here. We can either go over or we can flight it through the gap. Okay, now to go over, I'd probably be using my sand or lob wedge from this position, but I don't actually have that today. We're going to use a pitching wedge, and we're just going to learn how to manipulate the flight a little bit and how to get that ball up in the air quicker. Okay, so with the wedge, again, ball a little forward, encouraging us to slide that club in underneath. We're just looking to visualize getting that ball nicely over the tree. Okay, so second option this time is going to be flighting it through the gap. Now this is one for anywhere on the course really, if we've run into the trees. Obviously we've got the bush a little bit in the way today, but I feel I could flight something through that gap. What I'm looking for is somewhere to land the ball, and if we look this way, it's fairly flat the other side there, so if we can keep it towards the flag, maybe just to the left of the flag, we should be able to bounce it short and get that ball to bumble through, especially if you're not so confident with taking on the high shot. So, that's, again, we just need to visualise where we need to land it, the pace of the shot, and the flight of the shot. So here we go, we're going to have a little top aiming pretty much at the flag, trying to get it through that gap. Okay, here we are, typical little spotted down. So we've come to the 5th. You've let it leak to the right. We haven't quite gone in the ditch, or you may have gone in the ditch and you've taken a drop, but now we've got this in our way. So we've either got to be really negative and go over here with a wedge. We could chip through the gap, but we've got a chance to get the ball up towards the green through here, as long as we control the flight. For me, it's probably an 8-iron distance from here, but the minute I hit an 8-iron, it is going to fly up into the air and it's going to hit that tree. So we're going to give it a go with a 6-iron. and just see if we can manage the flight and get the ball, I don't know, somewhere front edge of the greenish. We're not looking for anything magical. We don't want to get too tight, so I'm going to go for the big area. So I'm going to aim just right at the flag. I'm just going to try and flight the ball, even if I've got a 20-30 yard chip afterwards. Managing the flight. There's no need to try and overlean the shaft and punch it low or anything like that. Okay? Nice and controlled, feet nice and close together. Manage the ball. Okay, so looking at that, that's left me about 20 yards short of the green. Gives me a chance at a chip. Could I have hit it a bit harder? Yeah, I could have. I've misjudged it a little bit, and maybe could have, maybe with a 5-iron, a bit more confident to keep it down and maybe get it chasing up towards the green. But I'm chipping on for 3 instead of 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're still in trouble here. We've almost got too narrow to the corner. This is where on this hole I play everything out over here. This is where the space is. It gives you a clear shot to the green. But if we have not made the corner, this tree is a pain, especially for a bit further back. The only thing we can really do from there is chip it out and over, and then try and chip it on. And do take that as a shot option, because if you've got a shot or 2 in the hole, take them, use them, okay? Put it over and pitch it on rather than take on the risky shot. Over here you can see the branches are laying really quite low, so I'm going to manipulate this a little bit with a 6, and all I'm going to be doing is moving 1 step to the left, so the ball is just inside my right toe, not too much forward shaft lean. Again, I'm just going to try and hit that nice low shot. Now, the easiest way to keep it low, if you can feel it, is to play a very slight into out shot when we put a little bit of shaft lean in it. And the reason for that is that we're not going to take too big a divot, and it helps us keep the club face ever so slightly hooded as we come in. Okay, so we'll give it a go. Ball slightly back, hands still in the middle, little bit of draw. Chasing up nicely towards the green. Okay, so you can see from that array of shots we've played tonight, you don't have to over manipulate or hit these punch shots or trap the ball. Play it simple, just narrow the stance, control the swing length, move the ball around a little bit to control the flight, okay? But practice them, because if you practice them, there's certain situations here. Another classic is on 15 when you overshoot the fairway, and you've just got to keep that ball down and run it in. So these shots do come in handy around the golf course. I was fortunate to grow up playing links golf, so I've played them quite often. But those of you playing inland, you don't get to play those shots quite as much. So do practice them. Play the drill, get that 1 distance, play all the clubs to that distance, and work at that shot. So the exercises we're going to try and do tonight is, on the range, if we're on the range, I want you to pick maybe your pitching wedge distance. It may be 60 yards, it may be 80, maybe 110, maybe whatever it is. But to that landing point, I want you to practice going through your bag. So then hit a 9-iron the same distance, an 8-iron the same distance, a 7, and then a 6-iron the same distance. Just trying to get that ball to finish the same distance, so you can see how the flight changes and how you control your ball. Now, if we're out on the pitch and putt, our challenge is to play the 9 holes, but I want you to use a different club off every tee. Okay, so experiment. If you've only got 6 irons, then we'll go back through them, but I want you to experiment with starting the hole with a different club and visualizing what kind of shot you could play with that club, and to help you understand and feel those types of shots.